gonna set the GoPro up, and I'm just gonna start to attack these dings all over this thing. See if we can get some filler on it at some point, maybe today. I don't know. Probably just gonna put the GoPro on my car, kind of something like that. So try that. Okay, so I got you guys off the car for a minute, and hopefully in that time lapse you saw basically what straightened most of the stuff on the doors, like the very first rough pull. Probably have to shrink some of these, hammer and dolly some of this other stuff, but for the most part, the majority of it is pulled. I left these ones because I'm gonna try to run these ones in real time. I'm gonna see if I can suction cup mount this thing like right here somewhere so that you can see what I'm doing. That one I'll probably leave and this one, but I was gonna do these two big ones so that you can see how it pulls out when I'm pulling it out. And I didn't hammer around the dents on the other side too much, but these ones, see, there's a real tight body line right there. You can follow it right down the edge, and this dent is actually in this body line, and this one's probably rolled this body line out a little as well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to put this thing right here, kind of lead it over the edge somehow. We'll go from there. Okay, so I've kind of got this thing mounted on here onto the glass. It's pretty stable. Got some plastic here, get out of my way. So what I'm gonna wind up doing is probably gonna tape this edge. You saw probably in the time lapse that I taped the bumper. I am going to it's my compressor. I am going to drop just that corner of the bumper and get this taillight out. Usually what I try to do, if I can, is tape something off like that bumper until I get some mud on stuff. Only because I can be productive and move the bumper off while I'm waiting for some filler to dry or whatnot. So, so you've seen I've got basically the same tool we have at the school, and I've been using the touch this down here. I've been using the leverage puller. Which I seem to find works really well for this kind of stuff, as long as you're not pushing somewhere else and making a dent. Okay, so like this one, this is a good one, right? The push in the metal is creased all the way out into here, and likewise over here. So what I'm going to try to do is set this up right on the edge of where the metal is creased to. And I'm gonna start working my way across where this is dented. Okay, and you should be able to follow it. See the whole quarter panel start to move. So how these things work, I know we haven't gone over this a lot, but it welds a piece of itself to the body. Okay, and when you twist this, it twists it off. I'll take a closer look of that after I get this pulled out. So I'm just going about 1/2 inch increments across, and you can see it starting to come out. Now, to further this, you can even take, while you're holding pressure, and start to tap, just tap lightly. You know, you guys have seen some of this. Tap lightly around to relieve some of that stress metal around, right? I really like to get the flat side. And this is not like hammer, hammer, hammer. It's just a little light taps, right? So twist, go about another half, quarter of an inch. Keep pulling. You can see it where it's stressing right here. Oh, sometimes that happens and that's okay. You can see this is starting to come up now. Right through here. Still real low here, but it's up. It's starting to come up through here. The other alternative to this was to put wiggle wire on it and pull it all at once. I like using this, have a little bit more control over where it's going. So I got like maybe one more, and that's a halfway point to the size of the dent, and I'm probably gonna switch and start to lever off of the other side. Right? Oh, there we go. It's still pretty low right here. I might put another one on there. I like to constantly feel around. I've got in trouble doing this with something extremely flammable on the inside. And the best practice is to probably tear the interior panels apart. If you go slow, just keep an eye on how this is going. I've set stuff on fire inside cars before, and it's not a good scenario when that happens. So, be very careful when doing this, okay? Like I said, I'm gonna switch to the other side as I'm moving this across here. Try to get that lever arm right in where the back side of the dent is. Alright, so, not super hot, feeling pretty good. I think I'm gonna put a couple more right here, try to pull it up a little bit further. Other than that, this one is pretty well good. I mean, we've got a bunch of real high spots. We're gonna grind that down. It should be fine. On this, I think I'm gonna try to stick the lever arm up on the top. Okay. Yeah, we're left with kind of a bumpy surface, but the thing is that it's pulled with a little grinding, those bumps will even out. Probably just kind of tap around where the okay, so the next one we're going to attack is this. And I'm going to start by running right down this ridge where this body line is. So that way, as it starts to come out, it's going to create that body line. It's going to make that body line back in there. Now I assume that body line probably only comes down to about here anyways. There is a dent here, and there's a good one here, here, and here. So I think I'm going to run the ridge, pull it, and then pull these two spots. And I'll probably, I don't know if you can see it on that angle, but there is a little bit of a buckle right in here. So I'm gonna try to push the foot off of this to push the pressure in and pull out. We'll see how that works. There's a little bit of a buckle here too as well, so. Okay. There we go. Now I'm gonna try to put one right in that divot. I'm gonna put one in this divot right here. That should pull that the rest of the way out. So now we got a couple real high spots, which is fine. You can feel that's real high right there, but there's a natural concave in this ridge. I'm gonna try to get this right here up just a smidget bit. There's something right there. So, seeing is it's a little high right here. There. A pretty good shape with this one. So, I'm gonna do is just gonna make sure everything's good here. Still a little low in some spots. Now you've seen Blue Collar Kyle. He uses these and he just kind of pulls it out gently, twists it. Works pretty good. Just using your pressure. Just keep making sure that it's not getting too hot. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna move this up here for right now so that I can fix that one down there. I don't know if you can see this on that camera or not. I'm gonna fix this one and I'm gonna fix that little one right on that body line. And then this thing is ready to grind down. There's a little bit of, you know, I can see down the side. You know, see if I can fix some of that before I start putting some filler on it. Okay, so I ground everything all down. There's not too bad. Hills and valleys, all this stuff all straightened out pretty good. You notice that as I was grinding, I tried to stop long enough so that the time lapse would check it out, but I changed the disc on the grinder from the spongy type wheel to an actual like cookie abrasive. This is a 36 grit, I believe, and that's because, as you all should probably know by now, the 36 grit actually like grinds metal. The other stuff kind of just preps the surface. I always prep the surface with that so it doesn't take too much metal off first. I just want the paint gone when I'm doing this, because you kind of grind a little bit of metal when you're doing when you're grinding down what's left behind, the little like high spot. So you can see most of it's all ground down. It looks good. All the little high spots are gone. This one here is a little high, and this one's like a mountain. This is probably by far the deepest one. So what I've done, I stopped this so that I can try to show how this shrinker works, right? So it's just a tip that gets hot, and when metal gets hot, it obviously, you know, contracts right up. So the machine is set up, the welding rod, which is, you know, the other thing that was on it. Well, here. So this is the long one. You can actually put a slide hammer on these. I don't know if any of you haven't seen this at the school, but you can put this slide hammer on there. Instead of using the welding pins, you can use this slide hammer. Then there's a short one that I was using earlier that I took off. And then there's a wiggle wire setting. So in this, you can attach wiggle wire with just this side here. You can do pins. There's a pin attachment for it. I don't know where it is. It's in here to actually weld these type of pins like what you guys are used to on. And then there's a shrinking function. You can see the shrinking is like a lot. So depending on how hot you want it, let's start there and we'll see what it does. You ready? You see it's kind of starting to, it's just kind of shrinking the metal in. It's contracting the metal all around in that one little spot. Should be bringing it down. Yeah. Now this is where I would say you want to make sure that you're very careful with what you're doing, and you want to constantly feel, because this is really hot and it could be burning something on the back side of this and you just don't even know it. So a lot of times I'll shrink it, I'll give it a little hammer, just kind of flatten it out, and actually I almost just punched a hole through it. So it might even, well, maybe not. So I said you just got to be really careful. This metal's pretty thin and stretched out at this point, so. so I apologize. I think the GoPro battery quit right as I was mixing filler. So I've got filler on this thing now. Mixed up one batch and it covered everything. You notice how I spread my filler. I've tried to teach you guys this. I know some of you still don't get it, and maybe this is a better explanation, I don't know. But when you see me feather edge out, right, you see I'm only spreading the filler to the edges of where my feathers, you know, like you can see right here, there's where it's feathered out, and I've got a little bit exposed there. But for the most part, what I've spread is only about out to where the paint feathers out on the side, right? That's really important. I know a lot of you guys still struggle with the putting a little too much on and having to take it back off. So, you know, the more is better in certain situations, the less is better in certain situations. I mean, I've pulled these dents out pretty good. So what you're gonna start to see is when I DA it back, it'll just leave the stuff that's real low in the low spots, and hopefully I'll just be able to putty. Now, there is some really weird stuff going on here that I'll have to figure out. I don't have any putty either, so I'm gonna have to go buy some. I have to make a run into town at some point tomorrow to pick some stuff up at parts store. And I know I shouldn't be leaving, but I have to go in and get some stuff. So get some supplies, hopefully get this thing done. Probably gonna try to peel the door handles out while this is drying, get the taillight out, try and drop that bumper cover. Like I said, as stuff's drying, you want to be profitable for your business. Get things moving, get it ready, and then start tearing stuff apart. Just be careful of the mud that's on it. So I've got this, the battery died, and I realized that I could put a cord onto the GoPro. So I'm hoping that I can set this thing up in my stand here with this cord and not run out of battery power at all. The only thing I'll run out of is memory card space. So I don't know how long this one's gonna be. It might be a really long one today, but I'll try to trim it down the most I can. I also set my other camera up, and I set my gimbal up, and I was just gonna try to do some like weird pans and stuff. Amidst all of the sitting around upstairs in my office, talking to you guys and doing lessons, I'm getting extremely bored with all of this sitting around. So this is killing me. I'm a on my feet kind of person. I need to be working, and sitting in an office or sitting at a computer for 8 hours a day is just not me. So maybe I'll put together a little edit of some like garage stuff, or I don't know, some cars in some different angles, and I don't know. I need to do something creative because I can't, like I said, sit around for much longer. All right, I'm gonna time lapse taking some stuff apart, I guess.